Right, now we're ready to go. My mic is on. So I called this September 17th regular meeting of the Jackson County Library District to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Susan Kiefer.
Here.
Marissa Shepherd. Here. Patty Jensen. Here. Marta Drancy.
Here.
Evan Keaton.
Here.
All right. All right. Our land acknowledgement. Jackson County Library Services acknowledges that its libraries are located within the traditional lands of the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians and the Modoc Nation, as well as the Shasta, Takelma, and Latgawa people, whose descendants are now identified as members of the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians and the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. We take this moment to recognize the indigenous peoples whose traditional lands are where the residents of Jackson County live today. Oh, how quickly we change. JCLS is committed to fostering understanding, deep respect, and honor for indigenous people, and we encourage you to learn more about the land you reside on. For more information, go to jcls.org/land. Do we have any introductions? No introductions and no proclamations. So, are there any suggested amendments to the agenda? Going once, going twice. Do we want a motion to approve the agenda? Or can we just? Okay. All right.
Say it again. I move to approve the agenda.
All right. Do we have a second?
I second.
So the motion, Kevin moved approval of the agenda. Marta seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We stand with the current agenda as printed. First up is the consent agenda, which includes minutes from the August 6th work session, minutes from the August 20th regular board meeting, and the committee charter and work plans for facilities and personnel and the relationship committee. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is a second?
Second.
All right. So Kevin moved and Marissa seconded approval of the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion stands approved unanimously. When I last looked, there were no requests for communications from the audience. So we can commence with the library director's report.
Yes, hello. So August was the last month of our summer reading program. So we wrapped up a successful summer reading program. We will have a report on that to you all within the next month. Several fun things are always happening at the library, of course. I just want to point out a couple of things. The Eagle Point Library hosted the Japanese exchange students. That's a fun annual tradition that the city of Eagle Point does, and great that they always include the library as part of the tour for those kids. I'm afraid of birds, so the fact that we had birds in the library is a program I did not attend, but I loved that we have this programming on pigeons at a couple of our branches. We started a new hour or half hour on the Jefferson Exchange, a a conversation with Kristen Anderson as our Ashland branch manager, as well as Joss Letzinger from our community engagement department. And this month, the conversation was around Hispanic Heritage Month. And so our Spanish Services librarian, Milagros Morales, was also on the show, and that was a fun episode. So you can always watch it live once, I think it's the first Tuesday of the month. Second Tuesday of the month. And you can tune in live, or they do broadcast, or they do post it to their website by that afternoon as well. So fun to have that new outlet for that.
What part of the program does it show up in, or do you have to listen to the whole program?
It's under Jefferson Exchange, so they will post it as a separate link.
Okay. All right.
We have also been at the Applegate Market in the Applegate at the Lindsay Lodge for almost every week this summer for the long growing season they have out there. It's a 23-week market, and we have a booth there almost every week this summer. And that has been a really fun way to engage with that community and be a part of a greater Applegate. And I was able to staff the booth with our business librarian, Rosalind Donald, last week, and just was delighted with the interactions that you have with patrons out there in the Applegate. And then the last thing I wanted to point out was we did have our new digital collections librarian, April Bozada Armstrong, attended the Digipalooza, which just sounds like the funnest library conference you could go to. So it's the conference that is sponsored by the Libby Overdrive folks, all about trends in digital collections and all of that. And so great for her to be able to go to that in her new role as our new digital selection librarian. Are there any questions or comments on other parts of the director's report? Patty.
I have a question on page 18, strategy 2, create ongoing community processes to engage residents. And I was curious if probably we're not sending this out digitally since they're unhoused. How are we conducting these surveys?
I believe it is through the patrons who are using the library, but I would have to get more information, get back to you. And I think at the time this was written, the survey was still open, so we don't have the results yet.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Kevin.
Page 19, their second paragraph. Oh, thank you. Great. You see, I guess Clark Sarah, though she did not use drugs, she agreed to keep a box in case of an overdose nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Box of drugs?
No, the share that naloxone was available. So she agreed to keep a box of naloxone with her
Okay.
in case somebody one of her friends overdosed.
She did not. Okay. I figured as much. I didn't.
You're just questioning the antecedents. We'll blame AI on that one.
Yeah, I noticed a couple of places where I thought AI maybe wasn't as smooth as it could be grammatically, but I decided I wasn't going to speak too on about that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate the update about the survey. Looks like we have 45 responses so far, or we had at the time it was being written. I think the aggregated summary of that, whether it's a paragraph or even two, they were really interested in whether or not the library I'm going to say flexes or changes how we do things when it comes to serving our population who is unhoused. And I'll report that from that meeting. I know I'm hijacking it a little bit. One of the commissioners said, well, do you track what kind of services you are providing? And I shared that us actually asking or triaging who is and is not unhoused, that's really kind of the job of, some of the navigation centers. So I think the aggregate data from this will be great backup for what we shared to the commissioners a couple of weeks ago. Thank you.
Are they worried that we will change? Are they worried that we will change our procedures to accommodate the unhoused, or are they in favor of our adapting as needed? Or was there no?
while being very diplomatic, I'll remark that they were being hyper cautious that offering extended services to the in-house population may lead us astray or lead to mission creep or services creep. And we assured our commissioners that our services are truly for everyone. And in fact, running a sort of a triage that would create a additional workload. And that's really the job of the navigation agencies, whereas we provide services to everyone.
And I'll just follow up. This is the first conversation we've had directly with the county commissioners in several years. And so one of the observations was we had a conversation with the leadership from the city of Medford around the time that we added security to this building 3 years ago, and we didn't have a similar conversation at the county level. And so some of their concerns, I believe, span a fairly long period. And so being able to assure them that we have added security and that we have our community resources team really more, I'm not going to say we've had them for longer. We've had a team and the services provided for, a significant period of time now. So some of the concerns they raised have already been addressed by what we are doing.
Mm-hmm. Director May and I effectively dispelled a couple of myths that may have been lingering from pandemic era conversations and discourse. And I think the next step, before we present to them again, would be to get them in our branches. A couple of folks in the room admitted not having been, at least to the Medford Library,
in quite some time.
Right. So everybody listening in right now, if you know them personally, please encourage them to check us out.
Maybe we should invite them to have a commissioners meeting in the library. Probably that would not be an invitation that would be accepted, but who knows? All right. Any other questions? Read the director's report. Any further?
I don't have any more questions.
No, you don't. I was just wondering.
Like, I wrote it. It's fine. Patty.
I just want to say this again. It is the most, no offense to everybody, it's the most enjoyable part of the agenda, to tell you the truth. It has pictures and I'm always wowed at how much each of the branches are doing. And it's so impressive. So thank you.
And we have to select from all of the wonderful news we receive to bring it down to a readable amount for you. So I appreciate that. And it's one of the fun parts of my job as well, to read and hear about all the fun things happening at our branch libraries. And I do just want to mention, since we're close to September 20th, we do have a special event here at the Medford Library this Sunday or Saturday from 12 to 4. It's a what's the E stand for? Enchanted Library Fair. Now that I have my back to them, I'm like, oh, I do miss my help me out here. So that is here at the Medford Library from noon to 4. You are welcome to stop by and partake in some of the magic at the library.
Are costumes recommended, or
you're welcome to wear
only
Ren
you.
Fair.
Well, I come everywhere in costume. All right. So, is Jenny?
Yep.
Oh, there you are, up in the corner. We now have a report on JCLS from Jenny.
Hey everybody, Jenny Hauer, Executive Director of Jackson County Library Foundation. The report is fairly straightforward this month, but I just want to do a shout out. Our very first well-read book club at Remotion, winery was a huge success, I think. 35 people. The book was Midnight Library. I believe we had a couple of you in attendance, and thank you for joining us. So I want to give a shout out there as well. The next one is Sept. It is October 16th. It's going to be at Roxanne Winery. I'll get more information to you as soon as possible. 6 p.m. And the book is So Far Gone by Jess Walter, who of course is coming the following week as part of an author talk and a writing workshop, which the foundation is proud to be a sponsor of and help support the bringing in of authors live. Yay. After so long having only virtual opportunities for that, we're excited to be partnering with the library on bringing in authors live. So that's happening, and the Rotary just knocked it out of the park with their Highwaymen program with the Camelot Theater, 150 seats in that theater. And I believe they came pretty darn close to selling out. And I was unfortunately unable to go because I was not feeling well. I was under the weather. But I understand it was a fabulous evening. So thanks to you all if you were able to attend. I'm sorry I wasn't able to. And thank you for helping us get the word out. I know it was a group effort for everyone. And Dolly Parton Imagination Library, they raised $5,000 to support approximately 160 kids. So teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Yep. And thank you for our books.
Oh, yes, you're very welcome. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you. The Library Directors Book Club for our major donors is also happening on April 21st with the author as well. So
April, you mean October?
I'm sorry, I don't know where April came from. I don't know.
I was gonna say I'm not
October.
quite
Yes.
ready.
I don't know what day it is anymore. So yes.
Yeah, great job with the
Yes.
fundraiser. Also, I wanted to say I saw a big billboard by the airport, your electronic billboard, so that's awesome.
Great. That's awesome. I haven't seen it yet. I wish if you are out and about and you see it and you can like grab a photo of it, I would certainly appreciate it.
And that is a Lamar sign company donated that billboard advertising to
That's-
DPIL across the state.
Oh,
Or across
That's
the nation,
that's
actually.
national. It's national. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which-
Hi, Marta.
Congratulations on having 35 folks at a book club. It is summer. I know how difficult it is, challenging. You're competing with a lot of other events.
It
I
was very
touch events
full.
quite a bit.
It was a
It's
really
amazing
cool
to hear.
event.
Also on Libby, if you try to reserve so far gone, there is quite a wait list. And so I really hope we're just continuing to give great exposure to great titles. And I hope to make it to that evening. Thank you.
Wonderful. I also have a few books to sell. If anyone would like to purchase them, I have a handful remaining that we didn't sell that evening in case anyone needs one.
So if somebody wants to buy one, they should talk to Beverly in your office here? Or
Just
what's
send
the
an
best
email
way?
to info@jclf as in foundation.org and let us know and we'll work with you to get you a copy.
All right.
Thanks.
Any further questions for Ginny? Wow, we're rocking through this
Yes, we are.
agenda.
Thank you.
All right, next up is the statistics report and strategic plan follow-up with Kelda and Regina.
Hello, I'm
Hello.
Regina Menino. I am the data and analytics coordinator here at JCLS.
You might
I
want to move your microphone a little
Closer,
closer,
okay.
and maybe you could move you so you can share.
I'm sorry, what was that?
You're good. You're
Okay.
good.
Okay, so I have a list of questions to answer here. For the first one, could we go to slide 40, please? Okay, so the first question that we had was, what's included in incidents? What's included in incidents as services provided by the community resource team? So the answer for that is the incidents can be removed from that chart considering they're not the same kind of service as the other services listed. Dealing with an incident is important for those involved, but it is not the same type of service as the others listed. In the future, we can either not report on that part of community resource tracking or report it only verbally or on a separate chart instead based on your preference. Any thoughts on that before I move to the next question?
So
I think
basically, I think it makes good sense to take incidents off services.
Right. It's something they track internally and we were
Well,
providing
tracking
it.
them makes sense, but putting them
doesn't.
in this chart
Right.
does not.
Yep.
Okay, the next question that we had was, would unattended children fall under the other category? Unattended children is its own category. But that category does not appear in the 10 most combinations list because it is not one of the most 10 common types of rule violations. So there's, a long list of types of rules violations, and we usually just talk about the most popular, not the right word, the most common, most frequent, thank you, that's the word I was looking for. So yeah, but that is an option that people could select, so those should not be coming up under the other category. Okay. Some other feedback that we got included that labels for the library averages would be helpful for the ULC chart. So as a reminder, the ULC chart, that's Urban Library Council. So that is not a chart that I created. That's created by the Urban Library Council. That's on that second tab there, I believe.
Yeah.
So
it was pretty.
Well, I can't really say thank you because it's not my chart, but we have this link that we can share with you so that you can go to this chart directly. And will you show how when you hover over it, it pops up the detailed information? So as a to sort of circle back to what this chart is, for libraries who are in the Urban Library Council, this shows for each library what their electronic and physical change was between these 2 years, between 2023 and 2024. So would you scroll down a little bit more? So there on the bottom, you can see the physical year-over-year change, and then on the top is the digital year-over-year change. So this chart was included from feedback that we had from the Finance and Metrics Committee meeting about wanting to hear more about trends nationally. Okay, so I will make sure that you have access to that link so you know where to go to find this chart. Okay, so the fourth question that we had was in regards to incident reports. What % or number of incidents were reported to or involved the police? For this one, could we go to slide 21, please? Okay, great. For incidents reported to JCLS through Orange Boy Savannah, 33 out of 332 involved police calls, so about 10% of those incidents. And separately, for records by security at the Medford branch in Therms, which is the securities system, 15 out of 1,014 Therms records involved calls to the police, so about 1.5% of their records. However, we want to keep in mind that that system includes multiple reports per incident for many kinds of incidents or situations. For example, sometimes a record is created for supervisor review or other kinds of follow-up. So for their data, we can't really treat it in the same way, like apples to apples with our data, because they have their numbers of reports. It could be one incident and it could have 2 or 3 reports or records, I should say, associated with that. I believe there is a second slide for this. Would you go to 22, please? So this is that same information separated out by branch and by month. So you can kind of see how they're spread out through the year.
And these slides were included in the packet that you all were eating.
Do we have any, I don't know, insight behind the reason that Ashland is as close to or ahead of Medford in some of these categories?
I do have one thing that we want to keep in mind is that for Medford, situations where security is intervening, like without it ever being reported by our staff to us. So that's another situation where it makes it kind of difficult to say, like, to look at it as apples to apples, because you know, a chunk of those incidents are being resolved by security and not needing to come through our staff to us.
And we don't have security in Ashland? I thought, no, not yet. Okay, that's good. Okay, thank you.
I will also note that Ashland and Medford open a comparable number of hours, so that may be another factor in how similar the data is between
That's
the
a
two.
really good point.
Right, but
And
So
more
it's-
visits along with that too.
I didn't,
Oh, sorry, and more visits too. So for example, if you wanted to like pull out that, you could look at like a ratio of visits to incidents or something like that if you wanted to try to compare 'em, like in a more like, you know, taking out that factor of being open more hours or having a bigger population or something.
well, I was just guessing that we had a bigger population here in Medford, and I was just wondering if the folks in Ashland are rowdier than than ours here in Medford, but it's not a huge difference.
Well, if you have any further questions, please feel free to send them in advance via email, or I'm happy to note anything now, and we can look forward to having more discussions about data and numbers in a couple of weeks at the work session on October 1st.
Right, the October work session will at least deal in part, and Carrie's going to be missing in action. So Kelda and Regina are going to help us with our work session. I've asked that we look at some of the trends that show up from these statistics, and I'm curious about what we think they might mean.
Exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Right. So on page 22 of your packet, we've looked, Kevin and I worked with Perry and talked about what work sessions we might be interested in. And we have the first part of that at least presented on page 22. If people have other either objections or suggestions for enhancement of the topic perhaps, or things to add that would fit in a similar discussion, or if you have ideas that you would like to kick around in subsequent work sessions, please feel free to forward your requests in that regard. So we'll be looking at metrics and strategic objectives in October, and in November, we will go back to the United for Libraries conference and board goals. So we might, Marta?
Kevin first.
Thanks. I did have a question. Carrie probably can answer this. Do you know when, the United for Library recordings are going to go away?
They usually stay for between 3 and 6 months. So I would say through October, they should be available,
These throughout.
since the sessions were at the end of July. And I will make sure that after this meeting, Yuli and I get together and send out the links to those. We should be able to.
Are they downloadable where I could just download them to my hard drive?
I don't believe so. I believe you have to go through their learning portal.
I imagine those are intellectual property that they guard.
Additionally, last year they tracked it internally to show you which ones you've watched and which ones not. So downloading them off of their platform may interfere with their tracking. I'm sure they're tracking out there how many users actually access what's getting watched several times. I wanted to write into the tagline for the November 5th study session or the work session, an update from those going to the advocacy conference in October. The
That would
timing
be
will be
great.
really good. That'll be 2 weeks after while the iron is still hot. You'll get an update from the 2 board members who are going.
I have a question. So we're not gonna watch them during the meeting, we're to watch them before the
No.
meeting.
Please do.
Okay, because they're
The-
kind of long, aren't they?
Well, there are, and a couple of them I thought were really quite good. So I think we could have a
Can you only
very
send
robust discussion.
can you only send the good ones?
No,
There were only 4 of them. We'd like
There's-
to allow you to make your own judgment call on which ones you consider to be good ones. But I believe both Susan and Marta, you saw one or two of them yet? And
No.
Marissa, you watched.
I have not.
So if you have questions about which ones were their favorites, I'm sure they'd be happy to tell you.
yeah, I'd have to find my
Go through your
notes,
notes,
but
but yeah.
I took copious notes. when
Can
I
we
was
just
watching.
read your notes?
No. No,
Patty, you must do your own homework.
You're also able to watch them on a slightly sped up mode. So if something is just, not a pace that your learning brain prefers, you can speed them up. I believe Marisa got to watch some of them live.
Yeah.
Which was
yeah,
really
I
neat.
watched them live.
And
too.
you did too, yeah. So you can speed it up if you want to consume more content.
No, I want to get the whole experience.
You can also slow them down or pause to take notes. That's an
Yeah.
advantage. Yeah.
Yes, and I will certainly want to go back and refresh my memory since that was a while ago. So, any other comments about, yes, ma'am?
Well, I was just thinking about this as I was reading the December facility, topic being the facilities master plan. It's more about feeding into the strategic planning process. So perhaps retitling that focus to be the strategic planning process, which will include facilities master plan, data and information. That may be a better focal
Right.
topic for that one.
Right, because, partly we keep talking about the facilities master plan somewhat because we did a lot of exploration of community. We got a lot of community input, correct, related to the facilities master plan that will, I think, feed into the strategic planning process also. Any other questions or comments on the work sessions? And truly, if you have ideas for other ones, please forward them to Kevin or myself. All right, and then next on the agenda, we have this amendment to our memorandum of understanding with the Jackson County Library Foundation.
I have a comment.
You have a comment?
Yes.
Make your comment.
And under agreements, number 2, the second to the last line. It starts, it determines renewal is not likely to generate favorable. Instead of term, should it be return on its investment?
Perhaps. Good catch.
It's an excellent document.
Do you have any comments, Jacqueline?
No, thank you for catching that, but otherwise this is just another amendment, moving the contract forward.
It seems that our MOU is working quite well. Yep. I think both organizations are pretty pleased with the way it's going. I hope that's true.
Yes. So I will add that the relationship committee did point out that we should have done this a few months ago. So I appreciate them keeping us on track, but that it is part of the annual review of our relationship and agreement to make sure that the terms are continuing to meet the expectations of both parties. And so pleased to see that we're able to move forward, and I have a lot of great things happening at the foundation right now. And I think it's great to continue that partnership and agreement.
Anything else? Do we need to approve this? Okay. Could we have a motion to accept, approve authorize me to sign this amendment to the MOU.
So moved.
All right, Patty's,
This is Martin, I second.
Marta's second. So any further discussion? Should have done that before. I was not thinking about approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I think we have unanimous approval.
So we will get signatures from you and Jackie today, and then this will go to the foundation board at their meeting next week. So, and Sue Collins, the president of the foundation, is on the
Working.
in the virtual audience along with Jenny. So they both know that this moved forward to their board for approval as well. Thank you.
All right. All right. And also under new business, we have Marta on tap to talk about the goals that she and Kevin as the personnel committee worked up with Carrie. And we have, I think, a draft.
So it's on me that this was not sent out earlier in the week, so it's now being distributed to
Would
the
you
board members.
mark directly into your microphone, please?
Yes, I failed to see I failed to notice a call to action in the email about getting this finalized, so they would be sent out to you ahead of time. The personnel committee is Director Keating and myself and Carrie May. We're doing our best to stay on track with mid-year goal setting, so that happens 6 months after the annual goal setting process, and I think we are on track for that. Thank you, Carrie, for providing great feedback on what's feasible, what's desirable, what's a really good common goal for the library, as well as yourself and the board, and how it's aligning with the board's support of the strategic plan. So we are aligning the mid-year goals and the annual goals with what's going to be a key priority for this board and the library in the next year. Goal 1 is drafting and adopting the 2026 and 2030 strategic plan. And that is a pretty overarching goal. It's going to be organization-wide, but a couple of deliverables that Carrie will be responsible for will be meeting the time milestones. So it's going to make sure the internal team and possibly the external support consulting team are aligned to keep us moving on schedule with the overall goal, as confirmed yesterday in the strategic planning committee that Director Barrientos Shepard also attended, to have the strategic plan voted on and adopted in May of 2026, ahead of it kicking into gear in June. So we're working backwards from it being done in June. So there are 2 deliverables under that goal. The second goal is aligned with the increasing awareness of library services across Jackson County. It's going to touch on the marketing plan. It's going to touch on the annual report for fiscal year 2025, which is quite standard for not-for-profits in the Valley and in the world of not-for-profits. And we even got a SMART goal woven in there, something that we already track, and that is a measurable 5% increase in active card holders who have used the library within the past 12 months. I think it's a great goal. I think it's really ambitious because it involves behaviors and activities by folks who are not our director and not the board, right? But it would be a great deliverable for the library system. And goal 3 is connected to maintaining a 5-year budget forecast. And again, it's going to rely on the alignment of internal systems, including the financial one here at the library, to present a 5-year forecast on time and twice a year to make sure we and the budget committee are as informed as possible going forward. And I'm going to slide it over to Kevin for any additions.
No, I have no real excellent. That was very well done summary, and I don't have anything to add.
Cool. Thank you. And we'll also be receiving it finalized by email, which you'll have a chance to review before we connect again. And I'm going to give the floor to Carrie. because talking about her in third person while she's right here is
Super
really
fun.
weird.
Yeah, so these, as Marta said, these are goals that we discussed together and had some discussion on what were some measurable outcomes, and also wanted to hear from those of you who are not on the committee whether you felt like these were appropriate ways to measure success towards the primary goal areas. So if there's any thoughts or comments on other ways these might be measured, or if there's other goals that you think should be considered, this is your time.
All right. Mark,
There is something that each of us on the board is going to be responsible for, and that is making our calendars reasonably available to Carrie to do an occasional, and the frequency to be determined, coffee or a check-in or a conversation, so that we are sharing with Carrie whether we individually are getting, what we need as board members, as well as vocalizing that via various committees that we serve on. But I know Carrie has met with folks interested in board service and those subsequently elected and or appointed regularly recently. Let's keep that momentum going. And that's where we all are responsible for. I'm not saying it's happened before, but let's just keep not ghosting Carrie and keep setting up those one-on-ones.
Yeah, I've had a couple of one-on-ones with you recently, and they're really valuable, I think. And I don't care if you reached out to the others, and I'm sure nobody's unwilling to have a meeting. So we just didn't want to make it a hard, formal part of
Right.
your.
We don't want to make it look like I wasn't open and receptive to that, right? So no, but no, I think it's a great idea that, ideally once or twice a year, meeting individually with each of you, just to make sure that, any lingering questions you have or burning questions you have, or anything like that, I'm always happy to do that. And I think we can kind of mutually reach out to each other and find some good times for that.
so do we have a suggested process on this? Since we just got this today, I'm not sure. Do we need to approve these?
My contract just says that my goals will be mutually agreed upon between the library director and the board.
Okay.
I don't know if that means that it has to be.
General consensus.
Do you want to take a look at them for a while longer before you have a motion?
That's fine.
Well,
Yeah, I think a consensus is fine.
Consensus.
I think consensus is fine.
okay.
Mhm.
So,
And I also think that goals can be living documents, and that there may be some shifts along the way.
all right.
And if you have a brilliant 3 a.m. thought about what could be incorporated, maybe to support these or to be
Right.
clarifying, please communicate with the personnel committee. And it could be incorporated depending on feasibility sooner rather than later, or in the next 6-month cadence of goal revisions.
Right. If we have ideas about the metrics for assessing whether the goals have been met or that kind of thing, sooner rather than later would be a good time to raise those.
Yes, please. But also, I know we attend professional development / board development opportunities that could lead to those brilliant 3 a.m. thoughts. So I think how we approach goals, it's good to have it set and it's good to have a general consensus moving forward. But while this is not a living document, how we approach it could be enriched by whatever we come to terms and to consensus on, even in 2 months, possible. I don't want to scare Terry, but brilliant ideas happen. So if you got something to suggest, please bring it forward.
Yeah, I think this is a good metric of having the increase in cardholders. I would say maybe an adjacent metric could be program attendance, just to kind of see again how people are engaging, if that's kind of the goal of this goal, right, is to increase library awareness and services. So yeah, seeing how different ways people engage with the library.
But this isn't to increase new cardholders. This is to increase the participation of current cardholders. So if you want a metric, if you want an increase in cardholders as a goal, that's not this goal.
Well, and I need to consult with my data and analytics coordinator. I neglected to do that before the meeting, whether becoming a new cardholder makes you an active cardholder. I would assume it does.
Well, I suppose. Oh, that's right. We had that
Yeah.
We did talk about that. prior
So I
to
think
this.
that it kind of incorporates both, you know, and what we've talked about, our definition of an active cardholder is someone who has used the library within the last 3 years. Our data collection system in Orange Boy keeps the active cardholders on a rolling 12-month basis. So as we bring in new cardholders, how are we keeping them engaged so that within that first 12 months, they're still active cardholders? And there are actually subcategories that they're tracking there of, you know, somebody is an occasional user if they've only used the library once in the last 3 months. Can we shift more of those occasionals to be regular users or digitarians or bedroom stories or whatever the other categories are? So there are some kind of sub analytics in there that I think can be used to help generate more engagement.
Well, perhaps the data and analytics team could include some discussion of the pieces of this in our October work session so that we can think more actively about how this really plays out and how we might tweak it to measure it carefully.
We have some technical difficulties. It's all good. Technology.
All right. Well, Kevin.
Our meeting might end abruptly.
So for
After-
instance, on the report that we received by email in last meeting, physical circulation per capita might be more meaningful if it was physical and digital circulation per cardholder or something. Like, isn't that what we're looking for? Like how many touches an active user would do and then increase the number of touches, for use of a lack of a better term. That might be something data can come up with.
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends too, why I picked per capita. Why I picked per capita is because I just wanted to see like how we were trending over versus the overall population, since especially, you know, at the time we're kind of experiencing rapid population growth. I don't know, we're still growing at that same rate, but that's kind of why I had asked that originally. Like, I totally understand your point, and we could, you know, we could ask them to change it if you think that would kind of capture it better, but it all kind of depends like what exactly what picture we're trying to see as a board, I think.
So we can kick this around next in a couple of weeks. Seems like.
Yes, then you can talk about my goals without me.
Yeah,
That'll be even more fun.
We'll get it all tidied up and hit you with it when you come back from Ireland. That'll teach you to go away. I'm just jealous, you know. I don't want to go back.
The last, just kind of adjacent to this conversation with my goals, when the personnel committee met, we did draft our charter and work plan, which is included in the consent agenda. So just wanted to note in there that it does include the mid-year evaluation, planning to do that by January of 2026, so that we have that mid-year touch point as well.
Good point. All right.
So an official call for consensus, just looking for nods and a thumbs up that this is what we move forward.
I think we're close, and I think we can fine tune some of this maybe a little bit as we go along, but I think it's all stuff we have to do.
Right. So it seems like the consensus is that the overall goals are great. Some of the metrics may be something we can be like, ooh, how can we, you know?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think just a little bit more discussion would be great next meeting. Along, you know, maybe marketing, getting up the right data metrics to look at that.
Yep.
And, yeah, good.
Thank you.
All right. Patty, would you like to make the relationship committee report? We have the minutes from the relationship committee are in the packet. I thought it was a really good meeting.
I would be delighted to.
All right.
It was an excellent meeting. It was my first meeting of the group, so I tried to stay quiet and listen and learn. But I guess the thing that stood out to me is that Patty V and I have committed to meet, and we haven't set that up yet. But I will be at the meeting next week, Jenny, and I'll bring my calendar, and Patty V and I can set up something so that we meet before the next board meeting of this group and the foundation. But otherwise,
The two Patties working on engagement together, I think it sounds dangerous myself, but
does anyone have any questions about the report? Whoever put this together is oh, Carrie did. This is excellent. Thank you. Any questions?
she's good at multitasking at me,
Yes, she is.
so.
Okay, thank you.
Just a note from those meetings that I don't know if you, minutes, that we are proposing a tentative joint gathering, social gathering before the Rogue Reads author event in February. So just kind of, you should mark that day on your calendar anyway, because it's going to be awesome. But, hopefully we'll be able to have a reception prior to between our two boards so that we can have a little celebration of library champions prior to the Rogue Reads event.
And I would just encourage us as the district board to really make an effort to participate in these joint gatherings. The teamwork that's going on now between the foundation and the district has been going up and up and up, and it's really cool. And I think the foundation board would like to get to know us better, and I think we would benefit from learning about them additionally also. So please.
And there's 5 new members, Jenny?
That board is
growing.
great. It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
5 in the past 3 months, I'd say. Yeah.
Yep. Terrific.
And that's up from what, about 4 when you started 4 years ago. So the foundation has made great strides. So Kevin.
Yeah, just under new business, just wanted to clarify, we're gonna have Jenny report monthly on the grant and fundraising.
I don't believe it's monthly.
I'm not,
I mean, just report regular, we meet with her monthly. I didn't know if that's what you meant.
I'm not sure what your question is.
He's asking, I think, what does regular mean? Is that monthly? Is that quarterly? Is that every 6 months?
I think
Is that the question?
I don't know that we put a specific time frame on it in the meeting, but we have discussed that Kevin and I would report on about a quarterly basis, just based on the ebb and flow of the fundraising and how it goes throughout the year currently. So
I will refer you to our charter and work plan on page 10.
there you go.
I believe it
Perfect.
was twice a year.
Twice a year. Great.
In July/August and then January, the benchmarks would be reported to both of the boards. And in Jenny's director's report last month, she did include a benchmark summary as part of her report. So that time, the cadence is twice a year. Yep.
I was looking
Thank
at
you,
new
Carrie.
business on our agenda, not new business under the minutes. So I was confused. Sorry about that. Yes, Marta.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight for the relationship committee that at our last work session, the board also brainstormed possible keynote speakers that came out as suggestions possibly for the retreat, but were better aligned maybe for being guest speakers for shared learning between the library board and foundation board, like having a guest speaker from a local independent bookstore owner before a discussion, perhaps on a day that if there's ever a joint board meeting that's not aligned with a Rogue Reads afterwards, things like that. So that, and I think there's an opportunity for continued board development that's kind of shared, like the Not-for-Profit Association of Oregon. They have webinars. Being a great board member, not just a good one. And so if there's a way to onboard our respective new board members and providing both of them a schedule of when those webinars are. Just, I think we can learn together.
I think that's a great suggestion, and
we can parallel
we
those out.
certainly can.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
So under the only committee that we listed as having a report, because we can only turn around so quickly on some of these. But as you will see from the charter and work plans for facilities and personnel as well as relationship, the facilities committee did meet, but that was, I feel like just this week.
Last week. I think.
Last week. We didn't quite have time to turn those minutes around and get them into the board
Well, the
packet
good
for
news
you. Oh, they were on Monday before the board packet went out on Wednesday. So just not quite enough time to get those in there, even with AI's lovely assistance on that one. So I didn't know if there are any other highlights from the facilities committee meeting that anyone wanted to share. And then also the strategic planning committee met yesterday. So if there's any reports from either of those committees, you're welcome to.
Marta.
Yeah, the strategic planning committee, and thank you, Marissa, for serving on that one with me, met yesterday. We're going to have a really aggressive timeline. It's not a bad thing. Like I told the group yesterday, for me, saying something is an aggressive timeline, it's a compliment. The next time that committee will meet will be the hour before our October 1st study session. And we are working on identifying key stakeholders to involve in the strategic planning process before it begins, with or without external consultative help. And we are poised to move on schedule. So please stay tuned. Hopefully within the next couple of months, we'll have some concrete dates for community, I'm going to say town halls, listening sessions. We're working on the right branding for that, and whether or not they'll take place in the libraries, maybe we'll go somewhere else to reach them. And yes, other board members will be very much welcome to attend those to show buy-in from our board. So stay tuned, and when it does roll out, please prioritize. And thank you.
Thanks for that report. I encourage our board to buckle your seatbelts. I think we've got lots of work to do. And for those of you who thought you were signing up for one meeting a month, I got news. There's going to be more work than one meeting a month. So, but it's great work.
I will also add that if any of you all have ideas or thoughts on who some of those community stakeholders might be, please reach out to Marissa or Marta or myself with those names, and we'll be sure they get added to the list. Over the past, I believe this is one of the first times I've worked at an organization for 2 whole strategic planning cycles. So I'm like, I remember the people who were involved last time, and roles have shifted in some cases. Same people are still with the same organizations in other cases, but I do have some of those lists from our Blue Ribbon Planning Committee from our last time. Marta's now on the board. She was on that Blue Ribbon Committee in 2021. And then we do have also
I have notes from 2016 when we did the first one.
Yep.
And we had a Blue Ribbon Committee then also. And that was really a robust process, I thought. So, and I was going through a bunch of the mountains of paper I have from this board. So I should find some of that and pass it along and see if you find it useful at all.
And we then also have the strategic visioning session from 2023. So we do, we have some touch points from when we've already gathered these lists, so we don't have to start from scratch. But if you have, someone or a group that you want to make sure is included, we're looking for both groups or if you know someone affiliated with that group that we can reach out to specifically. And as we set up these community listening sessions, we're going to do that in the different regions of the library system and strategically invite the community stakeholders from those communities to those specific meetings, including the elected officials and leadership of the cities that we are going to host in. So very excited.
It is. I was thinking about this, I don't know, not too long ago when I was going through all this stuff, and we are in such a different place now than we were when we were getting ready to do the first strategic plan in 2016. I think we actually did it 2015 to 16. And it's remarkable how far we've come. Yep. It's pretty cool. I call your attention to the meetings noted on the bottom of the agenda and ask if anyone has anything else for the good of the order. Patty.
I just want to share that it is in Ireland, but I'll be in Paris on October 1st.
Well, that's pretty fine too.
I've never been there,
So you'll miss the October.
so I won't
Question.
miss.
How,
I'll
how long do you get to spend in Paris?
only 2 days, but then we're going on a 2-week river cruise. But we scheduled it so we get back at midnight on the 14th, so we won't miss the board meeting on the 15th.
You might be asleep during. the
That's
board meeting, but-
dedication right there.
I'll be dialing into the 15th virtually. I'm at a work conference in Salem
In Salem?
on the 15th. Yeah. So heads up.
Or
We should have
as
lobbied
opposed
for
to
Paris.
Massachusetts.
So I will also encourage all of you, and you can either do it yourself or reach out to Yoli. We do have a shared board calendar in Outlook, and we have one that, so kind of keeping track of when you all are traveling or unavailable helps us in setting up our meeting times. So, thank you.
We used to
We used to use that on
have
Google.
one of those.
Mhm.
So it would actually be quite helpful, I think, to be able to see.
Has Yoli put it in?
So anything else? Going once, going twice. Look at that. It's only 7 minutes past 5. And I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Oh, look who you have.
But look who he's smiling at.
Hi, sweetie.
Adjourn.
Oh, you are such a smiley baby.
Gavel.
There you go. There.